Welcome to the yoga method. Today we are moving through a short vinyasa flow to warm up our body, clear our mind, and prepare for a new day. So coming into Samastitihi at the top of your mat and closing down the eyes as soon as you are ready. Breathing in and out through the nose, creating that audible oceanic sound. And as always, setting an intention only if that feels right for us. So pausing, just notice if anything arises. And when you are ready, taking one more breath in. And on your exhalation, please release your hands. On your in-breath, take your hands wide, flip your right thumb down, and then keeping your chin in and your posture beautiful, take your left hand behind your head, right hand behind your back or between your shoulder blades. Inhaling to open, flip the left thumb. Exhaling to gently move through that internal and external rotation of the shoulder joint. Let's take two more. Full breath in, flip, and on the exhalation, chin stays in, chest stays lifted. One more time, reach, pause, hold, flip the thumb, right hand behind the head, left hand into the curve of the lower back or between your shoulder blades. On this last one, pausing before releasing your hands down. Circle and sweep high. And on your exhalation, please just ease your way into your forward fold, releasing your head and shoulders last. On the in-breath, hands to shins, fingertips to floor, flat back extension. Before stepping your right leg way back, please. Release your knee. Place your hands on your thigh just to help yourselves up. Please check hip and knees in one line. And stacking your ear over your shoulder, over your hip, over your knee to begin with. Please bring your hands behind your head. Take a breath in together and really exaggerate the lift of your heart. And on your exhalation, just turning your chest towards your thigh. Inhale, pause, lift and hold. And on the exhalation, turn to the open side, please. Just do one more each way. So pause, inhale. Exhaling to revolve towards the thigh. Return to the midline, create a little lift of the heart, the chin, before gently taking that twist again. Once you've arrived there, just take the hands for a moment long before we shift our weight forward as far as our hips and our knees will allow. 2 breaths as we keep knee and ankle aligned, knee moving beyond the ankle joint into deeper dorsiflexion, and then really lifting dynamically through the abdominal wall and through our pelvic floor. When the time is right for you, see if you can land your left hand to the floor, right hand high, and encouraging your knee over the second and third toe with your shoulder, and only looking skywards if your neck will allow. There's 3 more breaths on offer. One more full, deep breath in. And on the exhalation, please land both hands to the inside, please. We'll take a moment to walk the hands back, lifting through the toes if that feels available. And if the floor is feeling too far away, please just bring your hands to your thigh or even to your hips. Exaggerate the length of the spine as you draw your left hip back, right hip forward, and moving just in and out of plantar flexion, dorsiflexion. Breathing in. Last 2. One more full breath in and out. We'll shift our weight forward momentarily. We'll pick up our back leg. And I'd love for you to slide back to your high plank. Separate your hands, grounding through your knees and traveling through your first chaturanga. Taking baby cobra or upward facing dog if your spine feels ready. Before we move ourselves up and back into downward facing dog. Spreading through the fingers, spreading through the toes. Checking that your hands are shoulder distance apart and your feet hip distance. Please dynamically engage your arms, your core, your legs. Squeezing the hands to the midline. Squeezing your heels towards the midline and bending your knees as much as you need. On your in-breath, just float to the tips of your toes. And on your exhalation, descending with control. Just 2 more, floating to the tips of the toes. And on the exhalation, gently, slowly descending. 1 more time, picking up, pausing, and holding before bending your knees and looking between your hands. Right foot is going to step there. Help yourself if you get stuck before grounding into your left knee. Right hand, left hand, before we check the alignment of our hip and knee on our right leg, and check the alignment through the other side of the body. Hand circle behind your head when you're ready. We breathe in, open the elbows, lifting through the heart. And on the exhalation, turning towards the thigh. Inhaling to pause and hold before turning the opposing way. Inhale back to the midline, a little bit of extension perhaps, before really exploring that thoracic mobility. Inhaling. And this is our last time to pause and hold. Reach your arms, and then you could absolutely stay here, descending a little bit deeper if it feels good to your body. Dynamically lift through the pelvic floor, tighten the lower abdominals by simply drawing the navel in. And then please awaken your left glute if you haven't already. We do this to bring stability to our pelvis and to help open the left hip flexor. 1 more breath that reaches the tips of your fingers before exploring landing your hand on the block or to the inside of your right foot on the earth. Please check your knee is above your ankle. It's okay if it's beyond the ankle joint. It just means we're challenging the dorsiflexion of our right ankle. And then only if your neck will allow, looking to the side or looking all the way to your top hand. How deeply can you breathe? And can you once again just check what's happening through the stability muscles, through your abdominals, and through your left glute. 1 more full deep breath in. And on the exhalation, we're going to ground the left hand to the inside of the foot. Walk your hands back, lengthen through your right leg. And once again, if the floor is feeling too far away, just placing your hands on your thighs or your pelvis. And if it feels good, you are just moving through flexion and extension or dorsiflexion and plantar flexion of your right ankle. Keep the heart buoyant. Keep the pelvis as square as we can. Taking 2 more of these, please. One more time to pause and hold. And when you are ready, shifting the weight forward, please lift into the back leg. And I'd love for you to step your feet on the outside of your hands. Turn your toes out for a moment and descend as far as it feels good to your body. So variation 1, the elbows will support us. Variation 2, you'll bend a little bit more. Fingertips will support us. And if you find yourselves lifting to the tips of your toes, it's okay. It just means that your ankle range of motion has hit its edge, and that's as far as you're going to go before the heels lift. So finding the shape that feels right for your body. And then please, if it feels available, you'll pick up through your hands, but not necessary. Closing down the eyes, pressing the elbows wide, lengthening through your spine. And just breathing new awareness into the inner seam of the legs as we take 2 more breaths. 1 more full deep breath in. And on your exhalation, please ground your hands and begin to lift through your hips. Listen, we're going to walk back with our left hand, left foot, walk back with our right, and then step your left foot forward, step your right foot forward. And then we'll reverse that. So right leg leads, left leg takes us to high plank, right foot comes in, left foot comes in. So variation 1, we are doing this alternating, stepping back and stepping forward. This is such a great full body exercise for building strength and stability. Variation 2, you are welcome to work on just tiny little hops. So lifting through the hips and lightly landing. Whatever option you've chosen, it's perfect. Just finding the option that feels delightful, wonderful, slightly challenging, but still feels you leaving completely in control. This is your last one. So when the time is right, we'll all meet in a downward facing dog. Checking hands, checking feet, and pausing just for 2 more breaths, please. 1 more full deep breath in and out. When the time is right, let's lift the tips of the toes as we breathe in. And on the exhalation, gently land your heels. 2 more. Breathing into the tips of your toes. On the exhalation, gently land. 1 more time. Breathe into the tips of your toes. On the exhalation, bend your knees. Look at the top of your mat. Walk or fly. Lift and lengthen. Exhaling into your forward fold. Rise and reach all the way up to your extended mountain before circling your arms down and around to Samastitihi. We're taking the weight into our right foot and we're picking up through our left heel for variation 1. Variation 2, you'll float the foot but touch the floor as many times as you need. Taking the hands behind the head as we did in the warm-up. Breathing in together. And on your exhalation, turning towards your left thigh. Inhaling to return. Exhaling to twist to the open side. 1 more time each way. Pause, reset your posture. Exhaling to turn towards your left thigh. Inhale, pause and return. Last time to twist away from the thigh. Return to the midline and please just send your arms and your leg back. Touch down as soon as you need. If it feels possible to pause in airplane pose, please do for 2 breaths. 1 more breath, and then bending slowly, deeply into your right knee. Land your toes at the back of the mat as lightly as you can. Once you've arrived there safely, option 1, we'll ground the knee as the hands rise high. Variation 2, we're hovering the pelvis, strengthening the legs a little bit more, but we're all going to pull the arms open into cactus. Press your elbows back, lift through your heart space, create a much of a back bend shape as feels good to your body. Stay and breathe for 3. Stay and breathe for 2. 1 more full deep breath in and out. On the in-breath, we'll all reach high. On the exhalation, we'll all frame our foot. Lift your back knee if you haven't already. Slide to your high plank and lower through your chaturanga dandasana. Energize and open into baby cobra or upward facing dog before lifting ourselves up and back to downward facing dog. Please simply ripple your way forward back to your high plank. Variation 1, you'll ground through your left knee, spin your left shin, and roll to your side plank. Variation 2, we are going to work with the split stance, but the option of stepping your right foot halfway up your mat, please, like a little kickstand. So roll your heart open, finding connection to the earth and to your breath for 2 more, please. 1 more full breath in. So beautiful crew, whatever option you're on, we're all going to meet with our both legs long. And then from there, however long you hold, this is up to you. You're going to pick up through your left knee. And we're going to step the left foot towards the top of the mat to land beside our hand. That's your right foot, technically. Spinning, turning, energizing from floor to ceiling for just 2 more breaths. 1 more deep breath in before we land that hand to the inside of the foot. And I'm inviting you to pivot your back heel. So now you're in Warrior 2 alignment with your feet. And you just need to decide whether you can keep this hand on the earth or does that hand need to slide instead to your knee. So you're choosing your option as you begin to peel your way open into extended side angle. Checking your knee is over your ankle, your back leg is powerful, and then top arm is going to reach overhead. Once you're there, deliberately spin your heart open and only looking to the palm of your left hand if it feels good to your body. Last 2 breaths. One more full, deep breath in. And on your exhalation, looking down, ready, Sun Warrior, rising up, take your time, reaching high, extending overhead as you descend into your legs. One more beautiful breath before we windmill our arms, frame our foot, and slide to our high plank. Lowering through your chaturanga, knees or toes, energizing and opening baby cobra or upward facing dog. Before lifting your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Rising to the tips of the toes as you breathe in for 3. Exhaling to lower. Rising, bent knees, straight legs, it doesn't matter, but be powerful in your body. This is your last one. To the tips of your toes as you breathe in. Exhale, bend your knees, look at the end of your mat, stepping or hopping. Lift and lengthen once you arrive safely. Exhaling into your forward fold. Rise and shine. Sweep your arms, press your palms, looking to your thumbs before releasing your hands down and around back to your home at heart center. Shifting all of the weight into your left foot. Variation 1, toe is grounded, heel is lifted. Hands behind the head. Variation 3, we're picking up through our right knee, any amount that feels available. Breathe in together. And on the exhalation, taking that thoracic rotation towards our thigh. Inhaling to pause, steady eyes, before twisting away from the thigh. Inhaling, woo, reset, reconnect, and then twisting towards the thigh, right thigh. One more time to pause and hold, twisting away from the thigh. Once we return to the midline, we're transitioning to Warrior 3, touching down as many times as you need, and you do not need to pause and stay here at all. Wherever you are, we're all going to meet in that lunge in 3 more breaths. For 2. 1 more breath. A lot of turbulence today. Landing safely, we hope, before we ground into the back knee. Take the hands high. Option 1, we stay here. Variation 2, level the pelvis. Square the hips, square the shoulders, and then we're all pulling the arms into cactus. Elbows draw back. You're going to feel your rhomboids working to draw your shoulder blades into retraction. And then exaggerate a baby back bend shape and maybe a lift of your eyes for 2 more breaths. 1 more full deep breath in and out. We'll rise high as we breathe in. We'll frame the foot and you'll need to lift your back knee if you haven't already. Slide to high plank, traveling through your chaturanga. Energize and open into your baby cobra, upward facing dog, before lifting ourselves up and back to downward facing dog. I'll apologize ahead of time for turning my back on you. We ripple to high plank, right knee ground, spin the shin, and roll over onto your right hand for option 1. Variation 2, we'll split the stance to begin with. And then you'll step your left foot halfway up your mat like a little kickstand. So staying and breathing in whatever option you've chosen for 3, for 2, and for 1. Now we all need to meet temporarily in split stance again. And then we're transitioning our left foot to the top of our mat. But if it's possible, we're going to stay and breathe for 3, picking up through that knee for 2. Spot your landing at the top of the mat, and when you're ready, pivot there and land safely. Spin your heart, energize your back leg, reaching dynamically from the floor to the sky for 2 more breaths. 1 more beautiful breath in before landing that hand to the inside of your foot. We're pivoting our back heel to prepare for a warrior 2 shape. But then I need you to decide, left hand stays on the earth, or does it feel better to pick it up? Whatever you've chosen, perfect. We're just going to navigate our way there. Check your knee is above your ankle on your left knee. Dynamically press into the pinky toe side of your right foot. And then only if your neck and your balance will allow, gazing upwards for 3 more breaths. One more breath in before we gently gaze to the earth. Ease your way up into your sun warrior. Right hand to right thigh, left hand reaching high. Last 2 breaths. One more full deep breath that reaches the tips of your left fingers. Before windmilling your arms, framing your foot, slide back to your high plank, and please land in child's pose. Knees wide, big toes together, sliding the arms away, releasing the head, and releasing your efforts. I'd like for you just to gently sweep your arms down and around so that the shoulders can completely relax. One more breath. When you're ready, hands reach forward, navigate your way into 4-point kneeling, and then cross your ankles or swing your legs around. However we find ourselves in a seated position, we celebrate it, and then we give the legs a little reprieve. This beautiful tree above me is dropping yellow flowers all over my mat, which is pretty amazing. When you're ready, beautiful crew, let's take a celebratory breath in together, bending our knees as much as we need and easing our way into a seated forward fold. Hands on the thigh, the shin, or your ankles, before you gently ease your way in any amount. Let's move. So on the in-breath, lift, lengthen. On the exhalation, pelvic floor, abdominals, and toes, energize. 2 more. Full breath in as you ripple your way up. And on the exhalation, only as far as you feel safe. So not forcing the body. Just meeting that first little bit of resistance and softening into it. This will be our last one. So we'll lift, we'll lengthen, we'll pause, and we'll hold before we gently take that last forward fold. Please rise the head, the heart as the breath floods into the body. And then let sit tall as the breath comes away. Variation 1, your right foot is going to cross over and your right toes are going to rest on your mat, okay? So as soon as we do the shape, weird things happen to this foot. So please just awaken through your left foot. And just notice if there's too much sensation, I want you to lean back. That'll feel better. Variation 2, we'll hold the knee. And variation 3, we're going to move towards our foot. So if we're binding, it's the right hand across the sole of the foot, holding on to our left wrist with our index finger and thumb. Now, bottom leg is sort of maximally on a hamstring stretch, but easing out any amount that you need. And we'll also be feeling this most likely through the back of our right hip. So finding 2 more breaths, please. Just 1 more breath that allows you to soften and release and relax. And when the time is right, the in-breath lifts our heads, our hearts, and on the exhalation we sit tall. If you are feeling the perfect amount of sensation, this is where I want you to stay. Duration 2, our left hand lands, we lift the right cheek, and we slide that bottom leg under. And once we've arrived there, normally you'll probably want to lift and readjust. So I'd like for you to endeavor to have both hips grounded. And if that does not feel good, you're welcome to change your mind and straighten out through your left leg. Please reach your hands out just as we did at the very beginning. And when the time is right, flipping through the right hand, bringing it into the curve of the lower back, and taking your left hand behind your head. Now, in sitting, it's much more challenging to stay lifted, to stay upright, but please notice where your chin is. So we want to really exaggerate the lift of the heart, the length of the spine. Maybe you're going to find your t-shirts, maybe your fingertips are going to meet, but wherever you are, gently press your head back and slightly lift through your chin. Option to stay, or option to begin to explore coming forward. And any moment that you want to release this arm position, please do. There's 3 more breaths. For 2. 1 more full deep breath in. And on your exhalation, stay bowed as deeply as you are. Land your hands and just let them support you so that you could explore maybe just a tiny bit more depth. So much sensation, which means so much goodness for the body. Last 2. 1 more full breath that really opens the back of the body. And when you are ready, your in-breath lifts the head, the heart. The exhalation, bring your hands behind you. Take the weight out of your legs, uncross them, and just give them a little shake, a little reprieve. Coming into our bow pose before we do second side. So please lift through your heart space. And once again, let's take this shape. So elbows press back, heart lifts, and that might be more than enough just to stay here. If it feels possible, we'll pick up just through our right leg. So breathe in, and on the exhalation, that gentle little twist before we return and release. Second side, breathe in, exhaling to revolve, inhale to return, gently release. Last 2, so floating through your right as we breathe in, exhaling to turn, inhale, and release. 1 more time, float through your left long spine, exhale to revolve, inhale to return, and exhale to release, shaking out your legs. And when the time is right for you, threading your left foot over so the pinky toe is landing on the earth. So it might be down there, and that's perfect, okay? Totally great. And then over time, we just work that foot a little bit closer to the heel. Once we're ready, we'll exaggerate our posture as we energize through our right foot, staying here, or maybe holding onto your knee and exploring a little bit more depth. Or if it feels accessible, reaching for your right foot, or taking your bind with your left across the sole of your right foot. So steady your eyes on your big toe. Deliberately soften through your neck, through your shoulders, through your faces. And no forcing the body, right? We're just lovingly working synergistically with our body, with our physiology, with our anatomy. Last 2. One more full, deep, glorious breath in and out. On our in-breath, we'll lift our heads, our hearts. On the exhalation, we're deciding, is this the perfect shape for me? If I feel like there's more room, I ground into my right hand. We'll lift through the left cheek, and then we're sliding the right leg under. Then we come back, and you'll most likely feel like you need to lift to kind of settle your pelvis in. If it's not feeling good, just lengthen that leg out again. Hands reach once we find the position that's right. Flipping your left thumb down. It comes into the curve of the lower back and up between your shoulder blades. And then right hand over you. Maybe you're holding your t-shirt, maybe your fingertips are grasping, but we want to notice where our chin is most importantly. So press your head back, lift through your heart, extend through your spine. Stay exactly as you are or explore a little bit more depth if the body says yes, please. So slowly, with control, just navigating our way to our own endpoint. And let's stay for 3 more breaths. It's hard to decide what's holding the awareness the most, the shoulders, the hips. One more beautiful breath. But we'll stay low, we'll unravel the arms, and that will give us more support so that we are safe to explore just a little bit more depth in this Gomukhasana shape. Take 3 more breaths. For 2. 1 more full deep breath in and out. On your in-breath, we'll lift our heads, our hearts, and on the exhalation, we'll sit back. We'll unravel our legs. We'll bring our legs out in front. We'll exaggerate the lift of our heart as we take our hands behind our head. Last round, we started with the toes on the ground and 1 leg elevated. Variation 2, we'll start with both legs elevated, please. So we'll breathe in together. And on the exhalation, it's just the same shape, but we're working from the top down. Inhale in and exhale to twist. If you feel like there's more to give, you can lengthen as we breathe in. Exhale to breathe out. Lengthen and lift as we breathe in. Twist as we breathe out. Last 2, full breath in, whatever version you're taking. Full breath out. Last 1, inhale, lift, pause, and hold. Get a little gritty as we twist for the last time and release. Please roll your way down onto your back. Gather your knees into your hearts and take a moment just to gently rock the body from side to side. The floor always feels so wonderful when we finally get to lay down. And then we'll ground through our feet. We'll come into our bridge. A little touch of the fingertips to our heels to check that our heels feel equal. And then a lift of our head to check that our hips and our knees are in one line. Once you're ready, pelvic floor engages, lower belly. We tuck the tailbone, we scoop, and we rise. So once we're here, we want to really deliberately and dynamically press into our feet. Feel our hamstrings, feel our glutes, pelvic floor and abdominals working as one. And then just as we've been working on in our down dogs, we'll take the toe raises to our bridge pose now. So on your in-breath, just float to the tips of your toes, please. And on your exhalation, ease your way down, but try and keep your hips high. 4 more. Breathe in to the tips of your toes. And on the exhalation, keep the pelvis high as you descend and land through your heels. Last 3. Up, 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 up we go. Gently, gently lower. So the entire posterior chain. Feet, calves, hamstrings, glutes, back extensors working. And then gently land. Is there 2 more? I think there's 2 more. Inhale, up we go. Pausing and holding before gently descending. This is your last one. I apologize if we did one extra. Lift to the tips of the toes, hold. And then after you've landed your heels, ripple your way down through your upper back, lower back, and tailbone. Gather the knees in again, and let's immediately move into our happy baby pose. A very gentle rock from side to side, holding onto your hamstrings, your calves, or your feet. Your chin is in, your neck is long, your shoulders are so relaxed. One more breath with or without movement. Pausing before grounding through your right foot, snugging your left leg over, arms in cactus, shift of the pelvis to your left, knees gently navigate their way to the right, and then our eyes can turn to look to the left. One more breath that really opens and fills your left lung, left side body. Before returning your eyes, using your core and your arms to return your knees. Center your pelvis, uncross, recross. Hips just a little bit to your right as your knees gently move to your left. Eye gaze to the ceiling, to the sky, or turning to look to your right. How deeply can you breathe? How much can we let go? And here comes Sky. She's been sitting just behind the camera, so well behaved for the last 30 minutes. She just couldn't take it anymore. Come back to the middle, uncross, lengthen. And let's take just a moment in Shavasana. Feet claim a little bit of space. Your arms claim a little bit of space. Palms open, toes falling out. A ripple of relaxation as we pause to allow the practice to become integrated within the body. Celebrating our efforts. Practicing gratitude for this body, this day, this lifetime. Last two breaths. Beautiful crew, you're welcome to stay for as long as you wish. If you're ready to reawaken, we breathe a little deeper. And we mindfully begin to bring movement back to the body. Fingers, toes, hands, and feet. Perhaps reaching your arms overhead. A full body yawn from fingertip to toe. Before bending the knees, sliding the arms down, gathering our knees to our hearts, hugging ourselves lovingly, rocking our bodies gently. Before we roll lightly to the right hand side, eyes closed, one more deliberate breath. Before we press the earth away, rising to our seated position, please. Any position that feels good to your body as we deliberately create beautiful posture. And our hands rise to Anjali Mudra, reconnecting with your intention if you set one. And we take one last conscious breath in And on the exhalation, envision your love, your blessings, and your prayers being sent out into the world. From my heart to yours, namaste. Thank you, beautiful crew. I hope you have a magic-filled day.